What's up, everybody? This is BBallin, and I am back with another Dota 1 commentary. Oh, you thought I forgot about this game, but I can never forget about this game. This is the game that we have come to know and love for the past 3.5 years, and thanks to GEST, sponsored by Gigabyte, it is called the Gigabyte Esports Tournament. Very generic name, but big shouts to Gigabyte, and big shouts to Gosu Gamers, who provide all the coverage, live coverage as the games happen, and big shouts to Gods. I was actually waiting for to cast this game because Gods had not yet uploaded his stuff to his YouTube. So if you ever get tired of my voice, which can happen quite often, I get tired of my voice. Man, my voice kind of sucks. Now's the time to put in the comments how much you love my voice, so I can get a massive ego boost and just be like, ah, my voice is the best. Anyway, so yeah, if you get tired of my voice, you can always check out Gods on Ghost to Gamers. I think he has a YouTube channel. You can probably just search GODZ Dota and you can find his YouTube channel. But yeah, he provided a lot of the live casting for this tournament, as he does every month for the GST. The only prominent Dota 1 tournament that we have replays access to that is not MPGL, because this encompasses all of Southeast Asia, not just the Philippines. So in this month's GST we have, or in this game we have MSi-EvoGT on the Sentinel side. I almost said rating. I almost said it, but I caught myself. They are on the Sentinel side, and they are formerly known as XCTN. They were picked up by a sponsor, and they won the last GEST. I think they won it right after they got sponsored, so big shouts to them, and they are looking to defend their throne. And on the Scourge side we have SkyNet, and SkyNet is probably the second most famous Vietnamese team. At one point, I think at the beginning of last year, they were a very, very strong team. They challenged LGD, Stars Boba to some very, very good matches, and I'm not too sure how they play. This is my first play ever watching them, but I think Luminous has some of his games on either his Luminous 48 channel or his Luminous Studios channel, so check those out. Anyway, so big shouts to everybody who keeps supporting me, keeps subscribing, etc., etc. I have actually sent out the beta keys as of this recording, which is recorded on a Thursday, so check your inbox, check your YouTube inbox. Most likely you'll probably see an email asking me for, or asking you for your email to send you a beta key. So if you are one of those people, big congrats to you. You are one of the lucky few. But hopefully you guys already have Dota 2 keys. If not, I'll try to continue giving away beta keys whenever we can. I won't make a big post or anything like that, but I will just randomly, sporadically give out beta keys as whenever I come by them. So, also, I've been getting a question, where can you get beta keys? The best places, besides Play-Doh, is to watch pro player streams. I know Playmate, Misery, Demon probably give away a lot, because they get them directly from IceFrog. So watch the pro player streams, and usually they're a lot of funny. Sing provides a lot of entertainment value. Sinrin does a lot of in-depth analysis on his stream, and so on and so forth. And the other place is reddit.com/r/sharedota2. That is a very, very wonderful subforum for sharing Dota 2 keys to the masses. I know one person emailed me saying, where can I get one if I'm looking for them, but I directed them there, and he actually won it the next 2 days. So shouts to that person, and hopefully you guys can get lucky as well. But meanwhile, just keep subscribing, keep supporting, and I will try to give out as many as I can. I won't make a separate video or anything like that, but just randomly give them out as I come by them. So anyway, enough blathering. Enough of this brouhaha, which is, by the way, an excellent word. Sorry, I actually ate a pretty big dinner, so my voice is, or I'm running out of breath pretty easily because my stomach is full, almost up to the diaphragm, which is where you channel most of your shouting from in Dota casting. But hopefully that will digest. It was a lot of soup, so that will run through pretty quickly. But anyway, MSi-EvoGT, the defending champions of the GEST on the Sentinel side, and they are picking. I actually did a lot of research for this tournament because at this point, not a lot of the games have been released, and the ones on Ghost Gamers do not have any ban info, so I went through the Manessa games, and only 6 of the games from this tournament were released. So it was difficult trying to find pick and ban info. I'm still doing my best to keep up with the current Dota 1 metagame in Southeast Asia because Chinese scene. I mean, who knows what they pick in Dota 1, even though they still play quite frequently because they don't make their replays accessible, which is how they make their money, or how the tournament organizers make their money, by the VODs. But anyway, these heroes that you see on the screen right now are very, very common picks and bans. Puck was a very common ban. Rubik was always first round of bans. Naga is always banned or picked. Batrider always been picked. Lesh or Lycan always been or picked. So not very unusual. And these teams, very interesting because I'm not gonna lie, I looked through some of the replays, or not really some of the replays, just through some of the replay data, and they pick very similar lineups in each of their games. Not similar to each other, but similar to how they usually play. Like what you see right now in MSi-EvoGT. There's going to be a comment in the future again and again and again and again right now by TNC17 saying that it's his favorite lineup. Yes, it is a bit of a spoiler. This is as far as I got to the replay. But this is a lineup they actually have played in 2 games, the exact same lineup. I kid you not. The exact same lineup. They love the TA, they love the Chen, they love the Furion, stuff like that. It's cool calling Furion Furion instead of Nature's Prophet, which is way too many syllables. And it doesn't roll off the tongue as nicely as Furion. But Templar Assassin, all of these heroes, this was the exact lineup they played in another game, I think against Myth, I'm not too sure. And meanwhile, the heroes on the Scourge side are very, very pushy oriented. SkyNet, they picked the Dirge and the Syllabear combination in their other game too. So this is a lineup they're very comfortable with. Now, the success of this lineup can be debated. I think 2 or 3 months ago I casted quite a few Filipino games from the GMPGL and a couple of GST games, and even going back to last year, late last year in December and in November, the Pinoys are very, very effective at fighting Syllabear. They really know what to do. The gank style is not really conducive to playing Syllabear, and the Pinoys know one thing: they know how to gank, among other things. But ganking is their forte, and Syllabear, if he doesn't get any items or if he's limited to very low farm in the beginning of the mid game, he's pretty useless. He tanks a lot, but you can just sort of ignore him because he doesn't have very high innate damage until he builds a lot of items. So he's just a big tank. He's a melee hero who's single target, or of course you can hope for some lucky entangles, but that's again a proccing ability. So Syllabear, he takes a usually he's the best lane carry for a reason, because he lanes effectively. He has 2 heroes. He has a ranged hero for one of them and a very tanky summon on the other hand. But if you just keep disrupting his lane, he needs a lot of experience. He's usually put in the solo lane, and if you keep ganking that solo lane, you'll be able to shut him down, because usually the team that has Syllabear really relies on him to get his timing push of a 22-23 minute radiance and just try to end the game right there. Usually it's not just take 2 towers, it's literally just ending the game at that point. So meanwhile, just discussing the lanes. Looks like we have Dragon Knight. Oh, looks like there's some action on the bot lane. Lich is in a lot of trouble. Nice haste rune by the Earthshaker. SkyNet Milano might be in trouble. Oh, Earthshaker, why'd you cancel your attack? You could have gotten the kill. What are you doing, man? That's unfortunate for Earthshaker, but he did manage to cancel us out. But luckily for Lich, Rich. Almost sound like Luminous right there. Totally not racist, by the way. I'm pretty sure he picked up Dark Ritual, so he'll be able to pull the creeps to his tower. But the unfortunate thing is that the Sentinel have a lot of long-range skills on their side, and they have the Power Shot, they have the Fissure, and they can really kill the Lich very far away. Fortunately for the Lich, Earthshaker is going to do some pulling and get back into the lane. You know, Templar Assassin versus DK, Templar Assassin should have the overall laning advantage, because even though DK has very, very high armor, already level 1, and he has level 1 Dragon Split, and he has the +7, or the 7 base armor. Meanwhile, on the top lane, looks like Furion is getting in a scuffle with the Crystal Maiden, and Nova is just going to be all that's going to come of that engagement. But DK versus Templar Assassin, DK should be out-harassed by the Templar Assassin, but he won't push the lane, or he'll push the lane better than the Templar Assassin as well once he gets his bottle, and just do what Pinoys love to do most, which is bottle curl like the bee's knees. But until he gets that bottle, he'll be very, very, very unable to hit any last hits. But it looks like he's doing a nice job waiting for the refraction charges to cool off and just spamming his fire breath right then and there, so he can ensure the maximum damage on that Templar Assassin. Meanwhile, Dirge is a hero that I really love. I mean, he's a fantastic pusher, and in the lineup with Silver, I really like this combination because Dirge is one of the strongest mid-game heroes, I kid you not. His Tombstone, before teams just start targeting it down and just doing a lot of damage, it just provides insane DPS, insane slow, and is really ridiculous. It has a 30-second duration, and looks like the Dirge is going to spam Decay. Level 1 2-stone Frost Nova is going to be casted on the Furion, and a nice soul rip to pick up the first blood. Nicely done by Lichek. And Dirge is one of those heroes who can cut off the creep wave at level 1 just because of that Tombstone. I don't think a level 1 Tombstone can completely destroy a creep wave because the duration is much too short. But at level 2, I'm pretty sure you can cut off the creep wave entirely and just go for a push. So Dirge is a hero who's really ridiculous in the mid game, and he definitely buys enough time because he provides a lot in terms of pushing, and most of all in team fights. Dirge can just help you survive until your Silver gets farmed. And if the MSi-EvoGT team does not gank the Silver, who is jungling for this game, very, very unusual. Not seen at all these days. Maybe I should check out the other SkyNet game to see if they jungle Silver. But Silver is not a very fast jungler. He's a safe jungler, but he doesn't farm nearly effectively as, say, a Nyx or a Lycan or anything like that. But he's still very, very strong anyway. And looks like TA is taking a lot of damage. Looks like there's a bit of a TP bait, and Fissure gonna come on the DK. Nicely done. Gonna trap. Oh, a beautiful body block blocking off the Sprout. And wow, what a really well-coordinated gank. But DK is just ridiculously tanked. But fortunately, they do have the Templar Assassin and the Chen. They were able to nuke down. And with the Chen and the Furion there, they devoted 4 heroes there, so they really, really need to desperately try to do a lot of damage to this mid tower. Just provide all the pressure you can, because if you devote all these resources in the early game, you really need to make something come of it. Meanwhile, Dirge is not lasting too effectively. Dirge is a hero, he doesn't need too many items, he just really needs Arcane Boots and a Vanguard or a Hood, depending on the magical damage output. And that's pretty much it. He has a lot of survivability through his Soul Rip and his Decay, which gives you strength and saps away the enemy's strength. So he can become quite tanky to that. He doesn't need too much in order for him to get going. What he does need is a lot of levels, because he really wants to get max level Tombstone, decent level Soul Rip, max Decay, and be able to spam. And what Dirge desperately needs is those Arcane Boots in order to function really effectively. So don't be surprised to see a couple Arcane Boots being picked up by the Scourge so Dirge can spam that Decay all game long. Fortunately, there aren't too many more Arcane Boots carriers, and Sentry Ward being picked up by the Crystal Main, no Invis hero, so just gonna go for some counter warding. Meanwhile, a nice Shackle Shot and a Sprout gonna go on the Lich, and looks like Milano's in trouble yet again, gonna be endlessly pursued, and Chen is gonna come around, nicely ganked. This Chen is just being very, very aggressive. He is level 3, and he's about to pick up level 4 with this kill, but he's getting blocked with Sprout, just doing a terrible job for the Sentinel team. I mean, I don't really think he could have done much more than that. That was just an unlucky position not to Sprout in, because it completely blocked off access. But looks like Earthshaker's going to take this time to get some farm and try to help his team. And meanwhile, Silver, he's going to pick those early phase boots, and it's going to be interesting to see if he goes for a mid-game timing for the Radiance, like at the 22-minute mark. Of course, that usually predicates on a laning Silver. You can still get, if you're not ganked, you can still get around the same timing for the Radiance in the jungle. If you are ganked, then it's going to probably be around 25-26 minutes. As we saw DK fall, a double damage Templar Assassin, one of the best chasers in the game and one of the most powerful mid-game heroes in the game, going to take down that tower last hit nicely. And meanwhile, on the Scourge side, looks like Lichik, the Dirge player, managed to get a last hit, and MSi-EvoGT going to do a nice job identifying that the Scourge forces are scattered, 2 were pushing, 1's jungling, so Bear can't really do too much until he gets items and enough levels, so they're just going to push all the towers they can. So right now, SkyNet's a little bit on the back foot, and like I said before, they really like running the Dirge Solar Bear lineup, so it's going to be interesting to see. I haven't actually seen how it works out, and we see the Dirge actually pick up those Arcane Boots, like I mentioned, and one of the reasons why I love Dirge so much is that he has some of the best voices in Dota 1. I mean, come on, how can you not love him whenever you move? Seriously. And again, we see the range and the root control of the Templar Assassin combined with the Earthshaker and the Windrunner. That's one of the reasons why they are so powerful. Just the range of initiation, just going to be able to trap somebody away from 1700 meters away, get that slow off with the Templar Assassin. And there aren't too many stuns that can stop the Templar Assassin in our tracks. and there are not really too many escape mechanisms, so when Templar Assassin gets going, she is going to be difficult to stop. The only thing that can stop her is probably a timely entangle and a frostbite, which isn't really too reliable. And of course the Dragon Tail, which has 400 range, which is pretty ridiculous. But this DK, not even boots 7 minutes in, and has his mid tower, he's feeling very vulnerable. He is feeling totally exposed. He is naked in the wind. Imagine that poor lonely Dragonite. If you would like to adopt a dragon to prevent any naked dragons in the future, please call the Dragon Hotline. What am I talking about? I don't even know anymore. It's been a while, guys. But yes, Dirge is one of the heroes that I still go back to Dota 1 for. Yes, I still play Dota 1. And Dirge is one of those heroes that's very fun because it can spam with him. That's all you need to do. Meanwhile, they're looking to just take it slow, I guess, SkyNet. Even though they have one of the best mid-game pushers, they really are depending on the Soulbear, who has picked up the phase boots on his main hero and is going to just try to keep farming. Let's check out the gold really quick. 849 in the bank for the Soulbear. Meanwhile, 1400 gold in the bank for the Chen. Going to pick up some boots, probably some arcane boots as well. Going to amplify that pushing power because there's no Crystal Main. Earthshaker, almost arcane boots himself. Furion picked up that early urn. Templar Assassin very close to that blink dagger, and when she gets the blink dagger, that's really the crux of the game for her. If she can get a fast blink dagger, and if you can immediately pick up 2 or 3 kills, then Templar Assassin is a beast who will just dominate the game. And I think on LD's channel there's a game of Templar Assassin just owning an anti-mage with that Mice Armor, but Templar Assassin is caught out, and the Sentry Ward not even dropped the Frostbite enough, as it turned Tombstone plus Friar Breath plus Dragon Tail, and Sentry Ward was actually dropped a bit ago. Meanwhile, Lich is going to try to juke off. One more hit, Furion. You have the urn. Oh, you have no charges. That is very unfortunate, but Winner should be able to get that. No mana on the Windrunner. My god, a huge mistake. Or very unfortunate. And you see Lich popping the Tranquil Boots. Nicely played by the Lich, ensuring that he probably didn't notice the Windrunner mana, but he probably knew that Earthshaker would come in for another fissure and pop the Tranquil Boots. Gives him a lot of move speed, plus 80, the second highest base in the game. Phase Boots, of course, is faster when you phase, and Boots of Travel has a better base move speed. But in terms of, broke-ass supports, you can't get much better than Tranquil Boots, as looks like Templar Assassin gonna get nuked down once again. This Templar Assassin is being really hurt upon, and will she be able to get away? That is the real question, and looks like she pays the price once again, as meanwhile, Kazoo managed to pick up a kill on the... on the Chen. And the Chen creeps are falling as well. So Chen caught out of position a little bit, and with that tower going to the Dirge again. And Dirge is one of those heroes. He doesn't need many items, but when you get him a lot of items, he is terrifying. So getting a very farm Dirge and not getting the Soulbear, suddenly things aren't looking too rosy for the former GST champions, or the defending GST champions, as they do have even towers. Nope, they have a tower advantage, but in terms of overall late game, and especially with Templar Assassin dying twice right before she gets the Blink Dagger, 1600 gold, and you saw she was at 1800 gold about 2.5 minutes ago, which is pretty ridiculous. This is only 11 minutes in the game, guys. But she had really ridiculous farm, but she's going to get a lot of that farm against her. Let's just check out the gold loss for that Templar Assassin. Oh my god, let's see... 500 gold lots for the Templar Assassin, which is very, very critical in this early stage of the game. DK picked up the Strength Tread, so he's recovering quite well from his early defeat. And I don't think Lich has even dropped the Chain Frost, and I think Scourge, they fight better as a team, even though they have Soulbear, who is one of the better pushers. But combined with Tombstone, Chain Frost, the Massive Soul, the Frost Nova, and the DK, you can't get much better team fights than Tombstone by itself and Chain Frost, as looks like Furion is in a lot of trouble. It's Smoke Gank doing wonders, as it looks like Furion is going to drop a Wrath of Nature, and he couldn't afford to TP out. Crystal Main was baiting the TP, going to drop the Freeze Bite, but unfortunately, going to pay the price. And meanwhile, DK, 11 armor, has that level 2 Dragon's Blood, and is quite tanky with the Strength Treads, going to be able to easily escape from this Windrunner and Chen. So it looks like SkyNet, after a very, very... I mean, it's hard to say that because it's just been about 11 minutes since the game began and about, 5 minutes since the laning phase ended. But SkyNet, they're recovering quite nicely from their earlier losses in the very early game and getting a very farm Dirge. Going to go for a Mechanism. Let's just check out how far away he is from that. He is about... It's a giant T-fight breaking out, a lot of Chen creeps, so many Chen creeps, but there are some DK illusions, and the Chain Frost's gonna bounce. Oh, what a very unfortunate Chain Frost for the Sentinel side. Oh my god. Bounce on the Furion 3 to 4 times, gonna easily pick up the kill right there and then. And now Chen is forced to retreat, Chain Frost being dropped, and I don't even think the Tombstone was used. And when you get that Tombstone Chain Frost combination, you're gonna be in trouble. TA managed to pick up the Blink Dagger, but why isn't she blinking? Oh, the Dirge zombie constantly canceling that, as looks like the cancellation will go on one more time before she's able to escape. Meanwhile, Silver just checking out his items, has nothing, so he's probably staying up to relic 800 gold away from that relic, and he's actually going to be able to pick up quite quickly, and that's in due to the quite a good amount of tower gold that they picked up. 2 towers, which haven't been denied. Of course, the Dirge last hit it, which means a little less gold for the Silver, but still, I mean, beggars can't be choosers, and Silver, he really needs all the help he can get in order to really, really just dominate a game. And right now, he looks like he's well on the way. Meanwhile, this Lich being a lot more effective. We're not seeing Lich too much in Dota 2 because of the very prevalent push strat, but this Lich, he's doing okay. He's soloing, and he soloed, and he got a decent amount of experience. Support Lich isn't really seeming to do the work, as it looks like Dirge is just going to charge in, not giving a shit. Gonna just, I mean, I guess before he died, he was probably like a honey badger, just not giving a shit. Anyway, it looks like Templar Assassin has the Blink Dagger, but has been unable to utilize it, and now the Scourge supports are getting pretty tanky. Crystal Main's never really exposing herself. I know Illuminous would love to see that, but she's never really exposing herself to a dangerous situation, as a Frost Nova going to be dropped on the Chen, and looks like the Chen creeps are microed quite effectively, but there was an entangle on him. Chen, unfortunately for him, or fortunately for him, has the Haste Rune, and Earthshaker was there to drop a defensive fissure. But now it looks like Windrunner is going to provide a lot of pressure. Lich should be able to usher the Windrunner away. She does have the Hood of Defiance, so she's going to be able to take a lot of reduced damage, but zombies and bears don't give a crap about Hood. I mean, it's good against the Chain Frost and Decay spam, but other than that, it doesn't do too much for you. Meanwhile, Crystal Main dropping Sentry Wards. No, I guess that trap was just planted. And Dirge is going to keep spamming it away. I think it's level 1 Soul Rip still. I mean, it's too hard to tell. I love getting Soul Rip at level 1, just because it does the most bang for your buck. As looks like a Chain Frost is going to be dropped in DK, taking a lot of damage, and now we see the Dirge TPing in, and Dirge gets here. All hell will break loose. He's going to drop the Tombstone. Unfortunately, it's not going to do too much in terms of chasing, but the Chen turns his back. Templar Assassin surviving for a ridiculous amount of time, and looks like the Tombstone fell quite quickly. DK is in a lot of trouble. The Frost Storm are doing a wonderful job in terms of keeping the DK alive, and now the Sentinel looks like they're out of juice. They dropped the heal, they dropped the fissure, and now they're backing up. Meanwhile, the Scourge, DK just getting more and more tank, but fortunately for the Sentinel, I mean, nobody died, and that's a good thing. Unfortunately for Sentinel, they haven't done anything to address the big bear problem up in their woods, or up in the opponent woods, and looks like Chen has got a little bit too greedy for the DK. Never really can count out Dirge for the amount of heal he can drop, and now he surely has that mechanism finished. Gonna probably do a pretty good push with the mechanism being finished and with the relic being picked up. So I think Sentinel should try a turtle for a bit, but one of the unfortunate things about playing TA is that if she doesn't get off to a fantastic start, and she got to an okay start, she picked up a relatively quick Blink Dagger, dominated the lane quite effectively, got a lot of runes, but hasn't done too much since then. And Templar Assassin, unless she owns the early to mid game, she isn't really too threatening as late game carry, unless she matches up against a not very tank late game carry, like an anti-mage. Of course, anti-mage is one of those carries. He's pretty tanky, but only because of spell damage. And looks like Templar Assassin might get initiated upon Dragon Tail being dropped in, probably relying on the fissure, but the Tombstone is dropped on the right side of the fissure, and this Templar Assassin just gonna get melted. The zombies constantly canceling the refraction charges along with poison breath by the DK. Looks like Windrunner is going to be able to escape home just fine. Shackle Shot unfortunately missed. Really, really unlucky for the Windrunner, but it looks like Furion is going to be in a lot of trouble. Furion, what are you doing, man? Oh, only you can prevent forest fires. as the fire breath indeed melted him down. And they are focusing the Dirge, which is probably the last target you want to focus. Ridiculously tanky. Hand of God dropped way too late. Templar Assassin bought back. Can she do anything though? No, she's forced to retreat. And now Dirge is going to finally go down. Scourge are going to back up, but good thing for them. All their heroes are quite healthy in terms of HP. I don't think they can kill the DK without the help of the Templar Assassin. Echo Slam is being dropped. This might be a mistake. DK, oh my god, what a broken Shadow Shot. Ridiculous, and they are going to pick up the kill. Chain Frost being dropped. Oh my god, this Lich just doing work with these Chain Frosts. Oh, can you get off the... No, Power Shot is going to get the kill. Ridiculous comeback by the Sentinel squad. Going to turn that team fight around in their favor. 4 for 2. 4 for 3 if you count the buyback. No, I guess just 4 for 2, including the buyback gold. So Sentinel going to take this and run with it. Going to try to pick up a tower. But let's check out the big bad bear. Relic. Shiny things. Bears, they're a big fan of shiny things. Don't underestimate him. Now Templar Assassin picking up the tower, going to desperately need all the tower kill gold she can get, because she did get that buyback off. Windrunner, that Shackle Shot. I think, you know, one of the criticisms we received for the top 5 for the best non-ultimate skills in the game, and we put Shackle Shot on at number 1, and Fissure was not even top 5, and then when Luminous and I did the top 5 for best non-ultimate stuns, I put Fissure at number 1, Shackle Shot at number 2. I think we should rename the best top 5 best non-ultimate skills to top 5 best non-ultimate game-breaking skills, because Shackle Shot is much more game-breaking, and that team fight can really illustrate how devastating a Shackle Shot can be. Easily picking up 2 kills just because of that one Shackle Shot. Which, picking up a Staff of Wizardry, doesn't need to get mech, because you got a zombie on your side. And you know, one of the weird things about Dirge is that he's a good mech carrier, but he's undead, and if anything video games have taught me, it's that healing kills the undead. So I think if Dirge gets a mechanism, he shouldn't take 250 damage, he should just do like 250 damage in an AoE around him. That would be pretty cool. But that might be a little bit too difficult. Whoa, a Sentry Ward being dropped. Might have noticed the body blocking going on, and now the Templar Assassin is surely boned. As Kazoo picks up the last hit, and now this range is finished. Templar Assassin being down once again. 110 gold, no buyback, no gold for anything. Did she pick up any items in that? She picked up a hammer, which is what the Pinoys love to do. They don't like to get BKBs, they just like to go straight out DPS and just hope. But in terms of an anti-Templar Assassin strategy, this one's alright, especially the range being up. Because, oh, looks like the Dragon actually leveled up his Dragon form so that... Meanwhile, Chain Frost being dropped, so much shit is happening. And now the Centaur army is gonna fall. Sorry about that. As... I don't know what came over me. Actually, I can tell you what came over me. A burp came over me. I did have a big dinner. It was pretty good. Meanwhile, DK leveling up that Elder Dragon form. Not really a huge fan of this, but I guess they want to clear creeps as fast as possible. Even though I don't really think that's the best idea. They're going to use the Tombstone again, 60-second cooldown, and they're going to take the Roshan anyway, noticing that 2 heroes are top. So again, small, controversial choices, and I don't even think they're mistakes. They're just controversial choices to begin with. As looks like the Sentinel have managed to pick up a tower. Lone Druid picked up the Aegis. He has another 1,000 gold, going to pick up some armor and then try to win the game right there and then. But again, one of the things I don't like about... I'm not usually against picking up the level 2 dragon form if you can farm with it. Of course, in terms of pushing, the level 1 dragon form is much better. It does damage to towers, but I mean, it doesn't stack, so I can see where you're coming from if you pick up the level 2 dragon form so early. But especially in this game, since Corrosive Skin is a DOT, or Corrosive Breath is a DOT, and against the Templar Assassin, who probably suffers from DOT damage the most out of any hero in the game, not a huge fan. But I guess with the Reigns, that's going to be all the DOT they need, and plus the DOT from the Reigns will disable the Blink Dagger if you send the Bear in advance. Combined with the Tombstone Zombies, this lineup is pretty good against TA. And of course the innate tankiness of everybody on the Scourge team. Dirge, built like a tank. Soulbear, really tank. DK, very tank. So SkyNet has found a very nice strategy in terms of countering MSi-EvoGT's strategy themselves. And this is the favorite lineup of MSi-EvoGT. Maybe they didn't know this might be SkyNet's favorite lineup as well, as I don't know if there was too many replays to study from the opposing teams. It's not like GGNet is posting any other games besides GMPGL games and GST games. I don't know if too much Dota 1 is being played at all besides the Chinese scene. But now we see the Scourge team going to maneuver into position, Tombstone's being dropped, and that should be Q for Sentinel to get to either better positioning or just bleed this tower altogether. And looks like they are going to attempt to fight. They're sticking to fight, or they're trying to outlast the Tombstone, but the bear is going to wail on that tower. Bears kill trees. They don't prevent forest fires, they just hate them, as it looks like Windrunner gonna drop the focus star, just kill a Tombstone, but the Tombstone was timing out anyway. Shaker managed to pick up a Blink Dagger, did not notice that whatsoever, but now you see the tankiness of the Scourge coming to full bloom, gonna rip through the Sentinel team, gonna do so much damage. Devoting a Windrunner to kill a Tombstone, clearly not worth it, especially, I mean, let's think about this for a second. Windrunner ran in, focus fired the Tombstone, in range so that DK could get a stun off, in range for other teams to get a still off. And then after that, I mean, Earthshaker is one of the best counters to Dirge, but only if there are a lot of zombies on field. And when you kill the Tombstone, all the zombies instantly die. Of course, I don't know in the exact instant when all the zombies died, but some questionable decision making nonetheless. I think you should have either killed the Tombstone then just backed up, because you wouldn't have all the additional zombies giving you a lot of magical damage on your side, or just try to initiate through the Tombstone with the Earthshaker ultimate, and then try to focus down the Tombstone. But I think the Tombstone was timing off anyway, and now we see the faded Silver get Radiance, time to end game push. As looks like the Blink Dagger from the TA gonna do a little bit of damage to the DK, gonna get healed up, no problem. Still has ridiculous armor even through that meld, and Bear dies. And I think it's on cooldown. Maybe they managed to kill up. No, he just resummoned it right then and there. Windrunner in a lot of trouble again. And Windrunner, the frontline tank apparently, because she did have the hood, but she took the words frontline to the heart and just stood in front of her entire team. Chen sending the Templar Assassin back home. Clearly, desperate times call for desperate measures. But now, I think MSi-EvoGT, they made a couple of mistakes in this game, as I don't think they can make a comeback. They don't have too much anti-push besides the Earthshaker. They have Furion, who's very, very strong at counter-pushing, but this Furion is ridiculously underfarmed. I'm gonna go for Necrobook, but I don't think that'll make too much of a difference. And Bear, when you target the Necrobooks, you just do a lot of damage, and the Bear don't give a shit. I'm not gonna lie, the Bear in Dota 2 is pretty badass. Just saying. But I like the true form of this bear better, because it's not like a werebear. Werebear. That rhymes. Yeah. So we see the power of Tranquil Loots, the innate weakness of this very, very mobile gank-heavy lineup by MSi-EvoGT. I think if they executed it a little bit better, I think they really want to get that fast Blink Dagger like at around 9 minutes, which is when she had around 1800 gold. If they could have got it in 9 minutes and prevented some of the pushes, May didn't devote 4 heroes to this gank on the mid lane and just, you know, get a little bit more experience all through and really protect their towers, because I think Silver really, he's not the fastest jungler in the game. He's a good jungler because he's very safe and he has a tank, but he's not a very fast jungler because this bear doesn't pump up a lot of damage until you get a nice level of synergy and you get a decent level of the bear, which takes a little bit of time. But I think what MSi-EvoGT had in mind was to get the Templar Assassin dagger on the 9-minute mark and then just put her on Silver duty and just gank all the way. But unfortunately for her, the SkyNet team identified this. They pushed down towers, got Silver a nice bit of gold, and more importantly got the map control they need to deal with the Templar Assassin. And Templar Assassin, again, a momentum-based semi-carry who, if she doesn't get the momentum, she's pretty much useless. Especially in the case of a Silver, who can just send his Baron, disable so many fraction charges, and disable the dagger. Really, really difficult. But keep in mind that I still think the Pinoys are some of the best teams in the world at countering Silver, and even though Silver is not very popular in Dota 2, other teams might want to borrow their knowledge in terms of fighting Silver in general. As it looks like the traps are going to be dropped, Shackle Shot hopefully landing, and Shackle Shot, it'll do work if it lands. But it looks like the Tombstone is going to be dropped. They're going to try to focus it down with the trees, but so much damage being pumped out. Zombies going to clear out the creep wave, and zombies are down. Are they going to initiate with the Blink Dagger? Dragon Knight picked up a Sage, going to go for Saint Inyasha or Heavens, however, it doesn't matter at this point, as he is so tanked, 2k HP with ridiculous armor, 33 armor in the bank, going to try to nuke down the Silver, going to try to get him one more hit. Oh, so unfortunate, 15 armor on the Silver, and now the Racks are going to take the fall. I really don't see anywhere for MSi-EvoGT to get back into this game unless they get a 3-man shackle shot, they burst down the Silver 800 times and just cause everybody to QQ, as even the Earthshaker Fissure Echo Slam, decent one, didn't even do a half health to any heroes. Missed the supports, did like 400 damage to the DK, and GG is going to be called by MSi-EvoGT, so the defending champions of GEST March already put in a bit of hold. This is from the group stages, and I'm not really too sure of the overall standings. I'm not actually sure who won, so this is going to put a damper on all the Filipino hopes to repeat as champions. Of course, Mineski's in here, Izone's in here, so still a lot of teams, but SkyNet showing up in their first GEST, and they're not messing around. They're going to get work done. So SkyNet really putting on a nice show, really being very interesting in terms of how they use a very underutilized hero like the Dirge, who is one of my favorite heroes because he's just a badass. So hopefully Dirge will be put in Dota 2 soon, and we can see him in action. I'm pretty big a fan. I mean, I think there's some models for Dirge in Dota 2, and they look okay, but I really want Dirge to have the same voice acting as he does in Dota 1, which is just the zombie sounds and not really like voices as in other heroes. Like Puck has a voice, even though in Dota 1 he was just all sounds. So DK, ridiculous tank. Silver, ridiculous tank. Templar Assassin, couldn't do much. Chen, couldn't do much either. And now we see the fall of MSi-EvoGT. This is still the group stages, and I'll actually be coming back to you with more GST matches. First Dota 1 match in a while. I must admit, I was a little bit out of practice, not gonna lie. But expect a very, very action-packed game, and expect a couple duels with me and Luminous in Dota 1, because he has missed the game a bit as well. So hopefully you will watch those, enjoy those, and have a great time. So as you watch the last bit of Fountain Farming, oh, Chen couldn't send the Templar Assassin back to the base. But now we see the last of the trees fall for MSi-EvoGT. I am going to leave you with the images of Furion fighting to protect his forest, and then bears just destroying. And the forest fire is spread. Could not stop the forest fire. It explodes, and the tree is dead. So thank you all for watching. I'll leave up the scoreboard for a little bit, but I think what I'm really interested in after this game is just go through more MSi-EvoGT and SkyNet matches. I've only seen one of each, and they picked pretty much the same lineups in both games, so maybe, since the problem with having a very practiced strategy is that teams can fight it very well if they can get all of their ideal picks. Of course, one of the benefits is that you are ridiculously practiced with this strategy and you know every in and out that you can do with this strategy. But we saw the clash of two very different styles come into play, gank versus push tank, and we saw push clearly dominating this style. So hopefully other teams will watch this, can prepare, and may next GST really exploit other advantages. And this is why Dota 1 is still very, very interesting in terms of metagame, especially since Rubik, Thrall, etc. have been added, and we are really going to see how they work. I think there are a couple of Rubik games. I don't know if we're going to cast those, but yeah, it's just so many interesting things going on. I really wish the Chinese would release their replays, but here's the endgame scoreboard. I hope you all enjoyed that commentary, so thank you all for watching, and have a fantastic day.